I'm with Dena Boggan, HIPAA Privacy and Security Officer at St. Dominic Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi. We're going to have a little conversation today about establishing a culture of HIPAA compliance in a hospital setting. Do you feel that the providers, your providers, staff, nurses, do they take HIPAA seriously enough?
They do now. I came on board with St. Dominic's in 2007, and actually at that time they had no compliance program whatsoever. It was pretty much, you know, kind of a good old boy setup, and they did kind of what they wanted to do. But I think it's because they didn't have any strong leadership as far as privacy and security compliance was concerned, and they didn't really understand what those regulations were. So I came in, made everybody mad right off the bat, laid out what the regulations were, did some training, and they still didn't take it seriously up until the point in 2007 when we actually had a VIP check into our hospital, and we did some user activity monitoring and found out we had some folks snooping in the records. And then we were able to go back and do that again when we established a user activity monitoring program in 2009, same VIP that came in and actually catch some of our physicians doing that same thing. So it afforded us a great opportunity to be able to go back and do some good training, education. We had the audit reports in black and white, can't really deny audit logs and that kind of thing. And they were like, oh, I get it now. So, you know, whenever you go into a situation like this and you've had the same old for so long, okay, you kind of have to gauge how you want to bring everybody into compliance. I found from personal experience that it does no good just to hammer it into somebody. A compliance officer that comes in and says, I know everything and everybody's going to do what I'm going to say or tell them to do is going to fail, because they've got to look at not only the overall makeup of the employees and physicians that they have, but also they have to look at the overall makeup of the organization that they have. And if it doesn't work to do a head-on attack this way, then you kind of have to circle around and do the strategy of the dolphin is what I like to call it. You circle and bump until you kind of break down that resistance, but you also go back and show viable audit results, investigation results, and that kind of thing. And you educate as their friend, not as their overlord of compliance, if you will. And that seems to work very, very well. When we started our user activity monitoring program at St. Dominic's, we saw our instances of people snooping into other records drop by 91%. It was remarkable just to see that, because they knew somebody was actively looking at that kind of thing. So again, you have to stay on top of your game, and you have to just really let them know we're paying attention to what you're doing, and we take our patients' privacy and security very seriously at our organization, because that's part of treating that overall patient. You know, they're the most vulnerable when they're in our hospital, so we want to make sure that they don't feel like their privacy or their security is at risk simply because they've chosen us to render the care.
Are there still some common practices out there that go against HIPAA, that you're seeing, that you've got to let people know they're not supposed to be doing that?
Well, you know, in the South, okay, our culture is we take care of everybody. And how do we take care of everybody? We gossip around our neighborhood or in our church or whatever, you know. I still will get phone calls from my pastor at my church, and they'll say, so-and-so's at the hospital, can you tell me how they're doing? Well, I can call information and see if they're here, first of all, and then see, you know, what their condition is. Well, you can't just go up there. No, because they didn't let me know that they were here. You know, those kinds of things. And then I'll run into people and say, I was at your hospital for a week and you didn't come to visit me. I didn't know you were there. And I get other people now that will come, other employees that will come and tell me stories like that. So, you know, those kinds of things. People sometimes have a really big problem with that gray area there. You know, if it's Aunt Sue or Aunt Josephine, and they just want to jump in there and see how they're doing in the records and everything, when they don't have a legitimate healthcare operations business need to do so. You know, we have to go back and kind of re-educate on that kind of thing. The other big thing I'm kind of seeing now, Some organizations do this, I do this, not all do this. We have a policy against self-examination of employees' records. And the reason is they don't have a legitimate healthcare operations business need to access their own records. But we're now getting a patient portal because that's part of meaningful use. Well, now, just recently, I noticed that I've had quite a few employees jump into their record on their systems where they have access to do business with St. Dominic's instead of going through their own patient portal to look at that. So I've kind of had to circle back around and go back and re-educate some on that and say, just because we have a patient portal doesn't mean that you access in our system. Let me explain to you the difference again in that. So
that's a new and emerging trend.
Very much so.
Okay, Dena, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Enjoy.
you.
Thanks.